there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for the year of 2016. This is for Scorpios born on November 12th to the 22nd. If you are not born on those days, you can just click the description below and find the appropriate video for you. What I did is I split all the signs up into 3 parts, each sign. Basically 10 days, which are, approximately the decans of astrology is kind of what I used here to gauge. And I did this to make the readings more specific and more accurate to each sign. So you can feel free to watch all the videos for your sign and any other videos that you want to watch. But again, these more specific videos will probably be more accurate for 2016. The funny thing is that every single Scorpio, the Scorpio readings have been completely different. It's like most of the signs I've been doing, the messages have been pretty consistent, kind of the same for each decan, every 10 days basically. It's been kind of the same, but Scorpios have been rather different. The first 2 were very similar, but you're way different than the first 2 Scorpios that I did. So just know that if you watch those, are probably going to be have some different messages in those videos. But you start off the year with the 4 of Hearts, which is a great card. 4 of Hearts is a very good card for getting jobs, for getting business. It's a card that is all about traveling for business travel, even meeting people while traveling. It can be a pretty exciting card as well because it's one of those cards that can surprise us. And somebody else had this card, and I told them this. This is like one of those cards where you go somewhere, maybe on vacation or on a business trip that you've never been before, and then you end up moving there. It's one of those things where even if you have no intentions of moving, this card can bring you to a place that you really resonate with, and you feel really happy there. You're like, oh man, I want to move here. This place is awesome. That's the kind of stuff that can happen with this job. You could even it's like some weird stuff can happen with the 4 of Hearts, really, in a good way. Like, I mean, you could go on vacation and you could find some place, and then, you could, all of a sudden there's like a job available at some business there or something. You apply for the job, you get it, and then you end up moving there. So it's kind of like one of those things where some pretty crazy stuff can happen. It's a card that asks you to be open to all possibilities. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3 clubs cards coming up. Clubs are all about the brain, but they specifically ask us to be open to the stuff, to all possibilities, and to not judge situations. So, I mean, if you're like on vacation, like I said, you get a feeling and there's some business you see that is exactly what you want to do anyway, and they have like a sign out front that says, come apply for a job, then do it. I mean, it's, again, don't judge situations with this card. On a more like kind of simple level, this card can indicate just happiness coming from the home. So you might not necessarily be moving, but your home life could be a lot more smooth and nice this year, and just more gentle and not so crazy. So that is a very important message. Your most important message is you have 3 6s in here, which is just like insane. I mean, people get repeating cards sometimes and stuff, but I mean, I've never had this happen where like 3 of the same number kind of come up. So that is a great sign for you, because it really means that your karma is changing this year. And before I pick up the next card, I just want to touch on that a little bit. The 6s represent putting energy into things and what you get back. So usually before we get 6s coming in, we put energy into things and then we get nothing back. But now with these 6s showing up, it kind of says now you can put your energy into things that you want to do and get it back at least equally, if not better. So I really like to see all these 6s showing up here. But the first one you have is the 6 of Spades. 6 of Spades, all about building momentum in your life, picking up momentum, things picking up for you. At the beginning of the year, if things are a little bit slow, don't get nervous. Don't worry, again, because it's about building momentum. So, you kind of have to allow things to take their time and move forward in the way that they do, in the way that they choose to. This can be for anything: relationships, business, jobs, work, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. This can be for a bunch of different things that you end up building this momentum with this card. Really great card. I do like this card. It doesn't have any, too many bugaboos attached to it, if you will. It's kind of like, sometimes the spades cards, people get nervous and all this, but this one is not that bad. It's also the card that I always say is most strongly attached to karma, the 6 of Spades, because The Six of Spades is it's almost like an instant karma card. It's like if it's like people say, you throw that boomerang out. People describe karma as a boomerang. You throw it out into the universe, something that you do, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing, and it comes back and it hits you, or you catch it, depending on and when you catch it with some good stuff. If it's good karma, but this is like instant. It's like you throw it out, it bounces right back to you with the Six of Spades. So watch what you do this year. Don't do anything nasty to anybody. Stay out. Don't gossip or any of that, because it'll come back to hurt you with the Six of Spades. So make sure you're always staying kind of true and honest with this card. Next, you have the Six of Clubs. Six of Clubs, all about success and growth. It's kind of like the Six of Diamonds, which you have here at the end, by the way, is all about sowing and reaping. But this is more about reaping. I mean, look, it looks like two rows of plants in a lot of ways there. So it's all about kind of reaping rewards this year. Anything that you worked on last year, it's gonna come back, and you will have the opportunity to kind of reap those rewards this year. I will say that if you didn't do anything last year and you didn't plant any seeds, that actually you have nothing to worry about, because you have the Six of Diamonds here, which says you'll be doing all of those things. So if you missed the opportunity to kind of like plant some seeds last year, you'll have plenty of opportunity this year to do that. And then obviously that'll pay off, and could still pay off this same year. It could still pay off in 2016, but or in 2017, but you really have nothing to worry about there. This card is also about it's about multiple things. It's about working on multiple things in your life. So make sure that any of the areas you're lacking, and I don't know, it doesn't really matter, just focus on all of those things and try to create better times. And it's also a card of like nurturing things as well in a lot of ways, because when you think about it, if you think about this like two rows of plants, when we have plants growing outside or whatever, we have to take care of them and water them and all that other stuff. So if you have anything that you're nurturing and growing, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a business, a job, whatever, make sure to take extra good care of it, because that will also come back to you tenfold if you take really good care of the things and the experiences you're having this year with this card. Next, you have the Four of Clubs. Four of Clubs. You have so many clubs cards here. Well, not a ton, but three. It really lends itself to being a very mental year, where you're doing like a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, which is good. People always think, oh, well, I'm only going to be planning, so does that mean I'm not going to be earning money, or I'm not going to be doing this? Well, actually, I think because you are going to be doing planning, it's like, we can't really plan when we're uncomfortable, because, if we don't have money or we have a lack of something, because that's all our mind focuses on. Although, even though we're constantly told by spiritual teachers and stuff not to focus on those things, that's a whole nother story. But, sometimes we can't help it as humans. We can't. It's impossible. I've talked about this before. But, so now that we have this, what I'm trying to get at here, and if I can stop stuttering for like 2 seconds, is that when this card comes in, you have all these other clubs cards. It's kind of like you're thinking a lot. So if you're thinking about a lot of things, like, and really planning things, chances are actually financially you're doing pretty well this year, I'd have to say. Because, again, you're not focusing on all these negative things. You can't think on this type of level. And the next card you have is the Eight of Clubs, which is thinking on a huge level. So, I don't think you can do that if you have too many negative things happening. So I'd say things are going to go well. Four Clubs, though, let's get back to this card. It's a card that asks you to focus and to double check things. I frequently call this card like Mercury retrograde. It's a card of just, if you sign anything this year, double check it. And it's not as severe as a Mercury retrograde, because it doesn't say don't do those things. It just says anything you sign this year, any contract, just double check it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to go crazy. Just read it over twice and you'll be fine. Same thing with entering into a new job or something along those lines. Just make sure everything is in order, and you'll be fine with this card. It's not a big deal. But just double check things. That's all I can say. And use your communication skills, definitely. With all these clubs cards, communicate. Anywhere you have problems, communicate with people. Be open with people. Be an open book this year. If you have a problem with your boss, tell your boss, hey, I have a problem with you doing this. Be open. That doesn't mean be nasty or anything like that. That just means express yourself. It will get you way farther ahead this year with all these communication cards. Eight of Clubs, next. Exactly what I was talking about. Eight of Clubs is thinking on a larger scale, having a lot of thoughts coming in your head. It's a lot of ideas, a lot of things. It is a card that asks you to, sometimes the Eight of Clubs can get us stuck. We can be thinking of only one way to do something. We put the blinders on and we don't think about little things around us. So the card can come up and say, hey, you know what? If you're stuck in any way, you just need to kind of open up your brain a little bit more and look to the sides and look for something different, a different solution to what you're doing. But by the way, I mean, this is a big money card. It's considered a big money card, and a lot of money coming in. Even if you Google, like the birth card meaning of this card, a lot of the sites I think out there will call this a big money card, literally, and it's because it can bring in a lot of money to us, a lot of opportunities to us, a lot of different things. But I also frequently say this is like the most psychic card in the deck. It's all about using your psychic abilities, trusting your intuition on a very deep level. So I would do all of that with this card. Next, you have the Six of Diamonds, your third six. Six of Diamonds is again, I don't want to waste too much time on it, but it's, putting energy out, getting it back. At least now, with the Six of Diamonds coming in, you can put energy into things and it will return to you at least equally, if not better. That's the good news with the Six of Diamonds. Six of Diamonds is also the sowing and reaping card, so planting lots of seeds in different areas and getting them to grow. That's what I would do with this card. Plant lots of seeds. Do lots of things. I always tell people with this card, it's a very business-related card. So, I mean, if you have a business, do a lot of things to get yourself out there. Use a bunch of different, whatever, websites, social media, whatever you can, different advertising platforms. All that stuff comes up with this card. Same thing with dating. This isn't just a money card. It has to do with other parts of your life. So, if you're dating, try a bunch of different things to get your dating life going if it's been stale with this card. Relationships that you're currently in, if things aren't working out and you want things to work, try different ways to make that happen. Frequently, we have to focus on ourselves for that to happen, especially with these sixes. It's all about kind of, focusing on yourself to make things work. So just know that. And finally, you have the King of Diamonds coming in. Love this card. It's a great card. It represents kind of what you want to be this year. I think you want to be the leader no matter what you're doing. Again, I don't attach sex to my cards. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You can be the King of Diamonds, absolutely. The King of Diamonds is, the leader at whatever he does. It's very work-focused as well. It does lend itself to bringing in more positive finances for you this year, so you definitely have that available to you with this card. But you have to work for it. I mean, he's a worker. I think you are going to work hard this year, mostly because of this card. So all in all, looks like an amazing year. Enjoy it. And also, again, please feel free to watch the other two Scorpio videos.